the chain curse and how you ended up being separated from your friends, being unable to meet them again, those are just metaphors, obviously. The mansion incident actually took place in the library. What happened there tore you away from this world. It changed you forever, left you alone. It's a sad ending. You can't accept it, and that's why you don't like remembering that story, because you don't want to reopen old wounds. And now, with reaching the sun, it's the same, isn't it? The wolf is looking for happiness, the way he proves himself. And now, with reaching the sun, it's the same, isn't it? The wolf is looking for happiness, the way he proves himself. Your notebook is no more than a diary, one where you write about your life in an exceptionally odd way. It's not that you're bad at writing endings, it's that the world decides them for you. Each ending is a new beginning for your next story.
The room cools down. A soft breeze blows in from the window as I lower my head. I breathe shortly after I reply. As I was saying, Luce, I came here to give you something. Luce is petrified.
What are you saying, CR?
It's the last chapter of my fairy tale. With this, our deal is finished. We no longer have any reason to meet up at the library. She, surprised, is only able to mutter the same question over and over again.
Didn't you hear me, CR?
I wanted to give you this before graduation is over. That's why I went home earlier and...
Don't ignore me, this is important.
My hands paused the moment I opened the folder that I'd brought along. A few seconds later, I take out the papers that contain the final chapter and hand them to Luce. I heard you, but you're wrong. It's not a diary. I won't deny that my own experiences are reflected in my writing, much like any other writer, but you're wrong. Luce can't even close her mouth. She's unable to accept what her ears are hearing.
It can't be. It's definitely Fitz. The accident, what happened to you, everything. Now that I've read this other story, I was sure that...
I have a good idea of who showed you that old story, but the history behind it is something that only I know, something I keep to myself. We made a bet over this, didn't we? You know that I never lie when it comes to bets and promises. I'm telling you the truth. She takes a step backwards, shaking her head in disbelief. Also, you say that each ending is a new beginning? If you believe that every ending sparks a new beginning, you're wrong. Life is made up of possibilities. For each decision you make, you open one door but close 10 others. The consequences of our actions are always predetermined. There's no turning back. You can't travel backwards in time. Each beginning is actually the ending of another story that will never see the light of day. This one here is simply another closed door. Do you understand me, Luce? We look at each other with resolve. This may be the first time that we can see the truth reflected in each other's eyes, when we don't need to say anything more to understand each other's feelings. She snatches the papers from my hands with disdain. Unlike in the past, this time she doesn't even take a peek at it.
What's wrong, CR? Where's that attitude coming from?
I've always been direct and concise. I don't know what you mean. Luce crosses her arms.
No, not like this.
There are no more words. It's not like anything we could say would change anything. Once I finish what I came here to do, I turn back to the exit. She remains there, looking out the window. Even though I turn to look at her one last time, I'm unable to read the expression on her face.
Breakup number 2.
Aw, man, and I really wanted them to get together. The doors of the school close behind me. Night comes and the sun is lost in its nadir. The few remaining students leave. They rented out a club, so the night will be long.
The last person's hat girl.
I, of course, won't be going with them. I never intended to go anyways, and where I belong is somewhere else. A place that's always been waiting for me, the park where I can always calm down. In the center, a quiet pond languishes as it's watched by the beautiful silhouette of a small woman. You're right, it's her. How appropriate it is that when she turns around, her face is illuminated by the moonlight. She's not wearing her hat. She doesn't need it under this bright night sky. There's no reason to hide. Her hair shimmers with a silver glow. Her porcelain skin sparkles amidst the darkness. This scene feels comparable to finding a fairy at a lake, one that could fulfill any wish and make any dream come true. But all I need is the smile that she always dedicates to me, and only me.
You came, CR.
I have to fulfill my promises, and I couldn't make you wait any longer.
Gosh, sorry. The way the angle is and the way she's drawn, she looks backward.
Oh yeah, that is weird. Not after so long. Her fingers play with the edges of her skirt while she softly nods to me. You've always been here, remembering everything, knowing it all.
She's gonna turn an owl and fly away.
I only need to speak the truth. That's what you've insisted on so often. After doing it, I can see clearly. I had the answer in front of me. That's why I'm thankful to you, Claire.
What if he doesn't break up with her? What if he ends up with her?
Oh, I'm not sure if I'd like that. The palms of her hands clasped together as if she's praying or begging for a wish.
Are you sure, CR? Can you be sincere? Will you be able to remember me?
I get closer to her until there's almost no space between us. My feet dip onto the wet ground and my hands shake nervously, but she calms me down by holding my hands with her own. I won't be able to forget you if you're by my side. That's why. Without letting her hands go, I drop to one knee. It's crazy, but it's the conclusion I came to. No more doubts, no more trembling voice, no more questioning any of my actions. After all, to her, the most important thing is for me to be truthful.
Is he marrying her?
I know, it's like he's getting down on one knee. Is he gonna propose to her? Is he gonna push her into the lake?
Or do a special breakup?
Or do a special creepy reverse divorce breakup?
Will you break up with me?
Claire, will you marry me?
Oh my gosh!
Really?
I called it.
Oh man.
What if he was like psych and he like pushed her
in the
and he's like,
lake?
we're breaking up.
Man,
You stalker.
I was hoping he'd get with Luz. Him and Luz seemed pretty good together.
I feel like this is all coming out of nowhere.
I know.
With this breakup stuff and marrying.
And then
stuff.
marrying her. It's like, why her?
Because they never went on dates or anything.
They did go on that one creepy date in the movie theater.
Well, yeah, but I mean with the other girls.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
And
I mean, but him and Ziva and Ozzy have been the troublesome trio from the start, right?
Yeah.
Since he transferred to that school.
I feel like there's nothing really leading up to him
Choosing Claire.
choosing the three, choosing between the three.
Yeah, I know. Well, Ziva, that's like his friend from school. And then Luz, he kind of just met her by accident.
Yeah, and I guess they had the crazy adventure with
They
the
did
car.
and they had those meetups at the library. And they had those like little moments, tiny moments. And I was like hoping for him and Luz to get together. But Claire? Why Claire?
'Cause I'm the best.
Thanks, Claire. What do you think?
Me personally,
Your
I
opinion
didn't want
on-
him to get with anybody. Well, Luce, if I had to choose someone, like if I desperately had to choose someone, but I didn't want him getting with anybody.
I didn't want him getting with Hat Girl. Viewers, put your opinions in the comments
I feel-
right now.
I feel-
Who do you think he should have got with?
I feel like this is coming out of right field.
I
Here.
know. Under the moonlight, my feelings take the most appropriate form, that of a fairy tale. The book closes at the foot of the pond, creating a perfect world. What if she says no?
I'm like, no.
I could see her saying no, though. Our own fantasy world, giving us the best possible ending to this story.
No, she is backwards right now.
Oh God! I
I
thought it
thought
was
that
gonna
was
go
good.
back to the. I thought that was how it was gonna end.
Here, what? Oh, it ends with the story.
Okay.
We didn't even get to
Oh, yeah.
hear her response.
Oh yeah, I forgot. She forwarded through this. That's why she knows that this is the ending. Okay. Reaching the Sun, epilogue. I wanted to hear her like say yes or no. Like yes, I'll marry you, or no, get out of here.
Mhm.
Reaching the Sun, epilogue. I'll try to read as fast as I can. The sun or the moon. He managed to escape from the other animals. He managed to bear the coldest blizzard and find a safe place to spend the night. He managed to put up with a lack of air, fatigue, and disillusion.
I was gonna say, why don't you read as fast as that text is scrolling by?
Oh, heck no. I'd have to be a robot to do that. Close to the summit, he slipped on rocks and the wound on his leg became worse. So much as leaning on it caused him intense pain, but that couldn't stop him either. The ground seemed to disappear in front of his eyes. Is that the summit? His motivation to reach his goal kept him going. More than climbing, it's like he was dragging his body along pathetically, but also pridefully for having overcome his limits. Only a few feet remained. Those feet would become inches, and those inches millimeters. Until there was nothing left to climb. Exhausted, the wolf let his body lie on top of the huge mountain. He was now able to lick the snow with his tongue, giving him a taste of victory at that moment. The storm died down, and the first rays of light slipped through the clouds. In front of him was the most beautiful landscape he would ever see. With his own eyes, he saw everywhere he'd passed. It was almost as if he could draw the route he'd taken to get here. He was full of satisfaction for having gone further than any other normal wolf, even despite his condition. But he didn't reach the sun. It was the same as always, high up, far away, distant. The summit of the mountain was cold and disrespectful, arrogant and haughty, fake. The wolf knew that it wasn't his place. He couldn't reach the sun. He never had a chance to reach it in the first place. His soul left his body at that instant. His eyelids fell closed, taking his entire body and consciousness along with him. The snow couldn't hold his weight and started to drag him down the mountain. At first it was with finesse and decorum, then with haste and exuberance. Finally it was with fury and violence. The wolf went down without any resistance. His soul should have died a long time ago. What happened to his body now didn't concern him. Surrounded by the pure white snow, everything went black. Darkness engulfed him even after he woke up. His eyes opened, but there was nothing nor anyone left to see. He was trapped in the darkness, but he didn't mind it that much. He started walking, following his instincts as well as his legs would follow. Eventually a small reflection caught his attention. He followed that reflection, assuming that he was already dead. Little by little it grew. After a minute of walking, he realized that the reflection was slipping through the trees around him, and at the same time, it became stronger where the woods seemed to end. The shine was both familiar and beautiful. As he got closer to it, he stopped following it by intuition and followed it by necessity. As soon as he exited the woods, he had to close his eyes due to the brightness. When he managed to open them again, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was the moon. The moon was waiting for him, not from the skies like usual, but from the ground around him. It was close to him, next to him. The moon that had helped him in the past had rescued his soul. She never asked for anything in return. He had never looked for or wanted her, yet she would never hurt him. And now they were face to face. That sounds like Claire in a way.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Having someone who cares about you, who loves you unconditionally. No questions or doubts, they're simply there for you. Isn't that true happiness? I don't know. Sorry, Claire came out of left field, I'm just saying. The wolf laid down next to the moon, tired from his long journey and satisfied with what he'd achieved. At last he could rest in peace.
I know this is something minor you're stuck on, but they never resolved the figurine. We were on the same page there this whole time, and the figurine.
I wonder if Claire has it up her sleeve and it's like, here you go, my one true love. Anyway, he took one last breath, barely able to raise his head. And a whisper escaped from his mouth, one of profound gratitude. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun, and found the moon in its place.
1,000.
The end. Oh, I was kind of hoping you'd get with Luce, but whatever.
I'm all happy you finished. Because it's hard for us to get together.
I know. Oh, the pianist. It's the guy. Is he from the intro?
I think so.
What are you still doing here? The song's over. There's nothing left to hear. What did you say? You aren't convinced by that ending? Well, that's to be expected. It's hard to differentiate the truth from the many lies. However, there are lessons to learn if you analyze the story properly. The first, for instance, is that endings don't exist. And the rest, well, it's better if you find them yourself. After all, behind 1,000 lies, one hidden truth. There's always one hidden truth.
Yay, we finished.
Oh yeah, we could probably stop recording now.